Welcome to State of Tech, Synechron's innovation podcast. Synechron is a leading global digital transformation consulting firm focused on financial services and big technology organizations. Our State of Tech podcast hosts subject matter experts and business leaders as they explore emerging technologies, industry insights, innovation trends, and more. Let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome to the latest edition of Synechron's State of Tech podcast series. I'm Rachel Kennedy, Client Account Manager at Synechron. Today's episode is especially meaningful as we'll have a conversation about allyship in light of Black History Month. Black History Month was first celebrated in 1970, aimed at reflecting on the past and celebrating Black achievements. Since then, we've made progress as a society, but the work towards full equity and inclusion is still unfinished. This month gives us an opportunity to redouble our efforts in understanding the role of allyship in fostering a more inclusive environment. Our guest today is remarkable at doing just that. Carol Anderson, who's worked at TSB Bank for over 40 years, has also been honoured with the title of 2023 Ally of the Year by Black Professionals Scotland. Managing a team of over 1,700 colleagues, Carol has played a key role in empowering Black and Black mixed heritage colleagues throughout their careers. Carol, we're so thankful that you're joining us for this podcast, helping us spread awareness and understanding allyship. Welcome to the podcast.
Great to be here, Rach, and really looking forward to it.
Thanks, Carol. I've got a few questions lined up for you, and I'm eager to hear your insights. But let's start off. Could you share with us how you began your journey in allyship and what inspired you?
When I think back, Rach, we've all been young and starting off our career. And I was very lucky in that I did have a lot of people around me who helped shape the type of person I am at work. And then I got involved in all of the gender balance. So making sure there was representation of women at work and understanding the barriers. And that would have been the start of my allyship, which then led me on to being even more aware of, you mentioned equity, but it's about all of the privilege. And do we really have equity? And when you're in a room with people, do you understand what privilege is and how you make sure everybody's got that equal status? And it's things like that, being able to make a place inclusive where everybody feels safe and you get the very best out of everyone because you've created that environment. That's what inspires me to carry on the allyship.
And that's brilliant, Carol. And I know that you're an absolutely tremendous leader and have been for a long time at TSB. Can you describe the importance of having a diverse workforce and how does this diversity impact the teams that you lead?
That diverse workforce, you're far more creative because you've got a much broader way of thinking in the room or in your team, and your actions are very different because everybody notices different things. So having that diversity is really important, both to the individuals, because how many times do we hear somebody say, I don't see anybody that looks like me. I don't hear anybody that sounds like me. And that can be in your workplace. It can even be with the customers that you serve. So I think having that awareness around everything you're doing, have you included everybody in it? And if you haven't got that diversity, been really challenging of yourself to understand why you haven't. And are there things you need to do that will remove barriers or make it feel safe for somebody to maybe put their head above the parapet and apply for a vacancy that they never ever thought they would be able to do? And I think how that diversity impacts the teams you lead. Again, you want your leadership to be diverse. I lead 1,700 colleagues. If they're all led by white women or white men, what does that actually say to the teams? And what does that say to somebody who is Black or a different ethnicity and they don't see people like them represented? And that's why it's really important, because it creates that belief that we are serious about diversity and inclusion, and we are serious about giving everybody a fair chance.
I think you've touched on it brilliantly there. Diversity truly is a strength. And something I've noticed about being a good ally isn't just about the large gestures. It's often about the small, everyday action. And as you said there, there's a lot of you can't be what you can't see. Can you share with us how we can be better allies in our daily interactions and support what was Black Professionals Scotland and is now Black Professionals UK and these other entities of great colleagues doing great work?
So it is finding opportunities to get involved. So unplanned conversations. You'll have lots of planned conversations in your diary that you're going to have, but see if you review them and say, well, how diverse are they? What opportunities am I creating to get involved and lean into situations that will really make a difference and make me feel uncomfortable? So that I'm almost putting myself in the situation of someone who is not represented. Because then you start to feel some of the feelings that others might have and you become more aware. So I think having those unplanned conversations, the ones that you will find more challenging, because you might not know what to say. And it's okay. Don't let that put you off, because you can say to somebody, look, I might be a bit clumsy with my language, or I don't know if I'm asking this in the right way, but I really want to learn. I really want to try and make a difference. And I think by doing that, you start to become more alert to the situations you're in. And it was funny because I was looking at some old work photographs today, and I've got one from 2014. And I'm the only female in that photograph. And I think it just relates to things like that. Have a look at your team meetings. Have a look at who you mix with in your work-related environments and become really alert to that. And are you comfortable with what you see and hear?
Thanks, Carol. They're really practical insights, and I think everybody can certainly learn from them. And what you said there about the photos really drives home the importance of open conversations about diversity and inclusion. So I suppose with that in mind, what advice would you give to organisations that are looking to foster a stronger culture of allyship?
Don't be afraid to start. Don't put things off. And when you start things, you'll always find there are people there that want to get involved. So make it really open. Talk about it. Talk about what are your aims? What would success look like? Why are you doing it? What are the benefits? Because if people understand the why and they understand the benefits, then they start to think, yeah, I want to be part of that, and making it accessible to people. And what I mean by that is knowing your workforce. Because sometimes it's face-to-face, sometimes it might have to be Teams, but then record it so that people can access it when they're able to do so. Making things like this accessible then creates that followership, and more people want to get involved. And then you'll find it starts to be a natural progression, and more people will come with ideas, and it will start to gather speed. And it'll start to become part of your culture that you just have to nurture. Because it's something that we all want. We all want to come to a place where we feel safe, we feel valued, and we feel represented. And once you get there, you can keep then adding on. But I think be open about it, and you'll find you've more volunteers than you think that actually are saying, yeah, this is the right thing to do, and I want to be involved in it. I want to make that difference.
This is all truly inspiring and absolutely excellent advice. So let's take one more question. As we wrap up, I think it's absolutely crucial for organisations to reflect on their own practices, and we've talked about some of that. What are some of the key questions they should be asking themselves to ensure they're fostering an inclusive environment, or tangible changes they can make and steps they can take?
So we never think we want to have targets, do we? But you need to have aims, you need to have benchmarks, key performance indicators, whatever you want to call them. You need to look at your organisation now and benchmark it against inclusion, diversity, equity. Where are you now and where do you want to be? And then make sure collectively across the organisation, everybody knows what those aims are, and then you keep signposting the progress so that people can link back what they are seeing and hearing to those aims. If you want to be represented at this level, then here's how we're going to achieve it, and we're going to report on it. The key thing is everything you say and do needs to match. So don't have a KPI there just because it looks good to have one. The actions that we all take must match that. and it must be authentic, because people need to know they are the right person to get the job or to be part of that team. And they're not being placed in that position because we aim to hit a number. That's what it can't be. The best result is where everybody is thriving and we start to see the real benefit of that diversity and a much stronger and deeper set of capable and skilled people coming forward. We need to be honest with ourselves when we look at what we're achieving, how we're achieving it, and making sure it is sustainable, and sustainable in a good way.
Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Carol. Your experience and your achievements are so inspiring, and the insights today are invaluable to all of us looking to be better allies, so thank you. And to everybody listening, let's take what we've learned from Carol and put it into practice. Thank you, Carol, so much once again for your time, and to our listeners today for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to the Synechron State of Tech podcast. Don't forget to like and share this episode, and subscribe to stay up to date on all of the latest and innovative technologies savvy businesses need to know about. To learn more about Synechron, head to our website at www.synechron.com. Stay tuned.